It was supposed to be a routine drill. At least that's what the principal had announced before the intercom clicked off with a sharp buzz. The students of Oakwood High groaned in unison, used to these frequent safety precautions. But something about this one felt different. Ms. Carter, a history teacher, quickly ushered her students into the supply closet, shutting the door behind them. She had just turned the lock when a second announcement crackled over the speakers. "This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Teachers, lock your doors. Do not open them for anyone." A breathless silence settled over the room. A minute passed, then another. Just as the students began shifting uncomfortably, the sound of heavy boots echoed in the hallway. A deep scraping noise, like metal against tile, accompanied the steps. A girl, Claire, clapped a hand over her mouth to stifle a whimper. Then something even worse happened. The closet door handle rattled. Ms. Carter's heart pounded in her chest. She pressed herself against the door, bracing it. The handle twisted harder now, jerking violently. Then, silence. A whisper right outside. "I see you." The students pressed themselves into the shelves, trembling. The door handle suddenly released and they heard retreating footsteps. They remained frozen for what felt like hours before the all-clear sounded. When they finally emerged, the hallway was empty, except for deep scratches along the walls, as if someone had been dragging a blade. The security tapes later revealed a dark figure, dressed in tattered clothing, creeping through the halls. But here's the most disturbing part. The front and back entrances had remained locked the entire time. No one knew how he got in or where he went when he left. Willow Creek Middle School had a substitute teacher one fateful morning. Mr. Duncan, as he introduced himself, was tall, gaunt, and spoke in a monotone voice. His skin was oddly pale, and his eyes were sunken, like he hadn't slept in years. The students noticed something off about him immediately. He never blinked. He never sat down. And whenever anyone spoke out of turn, he would tilt his head and stare at them until they went quiet. At precisely 11:47 a.m., the lockdown alarm blared. "This is a lockdown. This is not a drill." Mr. Duncan's expression didn't change. "Everyone under the desks," he ordered. The students obeyed, hearts racing. Minutes passed, then a knock on the door. The voice of the principal called out, "Mr. Duncan, it's me. Open the door." The substitute didn't move. He simply stood there, staring at the door with his back to the class. "Mr. Duncan?" The knocking grew more frantic. Then something horrifying happened. Mr. Duncan turned around, and the students saw his face. His once pale skin now stretched unnaturally, his mouth opening wider than humanly possible. His eyes were no longer sunken, but pitch black, endless voids. The lights flickered. The air grew thick, suffocating. Then, darkness. When the power returned, Mr. Duncan was gone. The classroom door was still locked, but there was no sign of him. When the principal entered, he demanded to know where the substitute was. The office had no record of hiring a Mr. Duncan. In 1998, Greenview Elementary went into lockdown when a man was spotted near the playground, pacing back and forth. It seemed normal at first, until one of the teachers realized he was staring at the second-floor window, at someone inside, a girl named Lila. Lila was a quiet child. She often sat alone, drawing strange symbols in her notebook. That day, she had been at her desk, looking outside, her eyes locked with the man's. A teacher hurried over and pulled her away, shutting the blinds. That was when the intercom came on. "Lockdown, lock your doors immediately." The teacher did as instructed, ushering the children to the back of the room. But Lila refused to move. She was fixated on the window, whispering something under her breath. The lockdown lasted an hour. When the all-clear was given, the teachers began counting their students before escorting them out. That's when they noticed Lila was gone. The doors had been locked, the windows shut. There was no way she could have left. The school searched for hours, but she had vanished without a trace. The police reviewed the security footage, expecting to see her slipping out of the classroom. Instead, the cameras showed something far more chilling. At exactly 2:14 p.m., Lila stood up, walked toward the window, and then disappeared. One frame, she was there. The next, gone. They never found her. But sometimes, late at night, the janitors claim they hear a soft whisper coming from that classroom. A girl's voice saying, "He's still watching."